Race 3 of the Kotai V8 Supercar Challenge here at Albert Park this weekend. Jack Perkins alongside me. We have had two cracking motor races so far, JP. This one should be the same because we've got Shane Van Gisbergen going from pole. He's won 2 races. Craig Lowndes stormed through the field yesterday to P2 after a great fight with Jamie Whincup.
Yeah, they've been absolutely cracking races. 12 laps around Albert Park. Soft tyres this weekend, so 1 set of softs basically for each race. The cars were all given 4 sets of softs for the weekend, so no interesting tyre strategies to play out. Shane Van Gisbergen qualified 5th, but made his way to the lead in the middle of the race, made a good passing manoeuvre on Jamie Whincup in the first one. And then yesterday we saw a great battle between Jamie Whincup and Craig Lowndes, who came from back in the grid, 7th I think it was, to get up to 2nd. So great job there, and it was a 888, 1, 2, 3. So those guys are looking ominous for the year ahead.
There'll be some drivers to watch coming through the field. Mark Winterbottom goes from 12th, the defending V8 Supercar champion, turned around by Fabian Coulthard in race 1 yesterday early afternoon. There was no penalty for that, unless you Mark Winterbottom, because he went to the back of the field. He worked his way up to 12th in race 2, and we'll start there for this one. So there's a lot of pressure on the driver of car number 1 to get that car to the front of the field. That is the defending champion squad down there in the Pro Drive Racing Australia pit. Jason Gray is engineer, and the PRA boys watching on. They've got one ace in the fight at the front, and that's Todd Kelly, the car sales Nissan, for the 3rd time this weekend with smoke billowing from the end. We saw that in practice 1 on Thursday morning here at Albert Park. We saw it at the start of a race yesterday. Similar problems again for Todd Kelly and this one number 7 Nissan.
Yeah, it's a strange one. As you say, 3 times over the course of the weekend we've seen smoke billowing out of the back of that number 7 machine, and I'm not convinced it's terminal, as strange as that sounds, but I believe it's an oil line issue that's obviously reappearing. So strange one there, but we're back focusing now, second last corner. So rolling starts are the unique part of this event. You see Craig Lowndes draw alongside Shane Van Gisbergen on the front row of the grid. So Shane on your right-hand side of the track is on pole position. Craig Lowndes on the front row. They approach the start line at 60 kilometres an hour, and there's a red light you can just see at the top of your screen under the Rolex bridge. When that red light goes out, the race is on. Yesterday,
Lowndes and Whincup battled all race, and there was a mighty roar from the big crowd here yesterday as Lowndes got to 2nd. Can he go one better and break this streak from Shane Van Gisbergen? We're underway in race 3. Another great start from Garth Tander, the Holden Racing Team Commodore. Van Gisbergen, car 97, down the inside at turn 1 and holds the lead. Fabian Coulthard, that black FGX Falcon, strong again, off the line and works his way forward. Is he P3 or is he wrestling with Jamie Whincup? It's the latter. They're side by side. There's McLaughlin in the game as well, alongside James Courtney. Coulthard around the outside. There's contact. Van Gisbergen gets into by Craig Lowndes, and Jamie Whincup sails around the outside, and all of a sudden, it's a Red Bull 1-2 again.
And Garth Tander up the inside of Fabian Coulthard. What a great job. Garth, we often say, has tremendous first laps, and I thought it was just standing starts, but his rolling starts are proving to be excellent as well. Moves into 4th, and Scott McLaughlin behind in the Volvo. Fabian Coulthard, the biggest loser there.
Yeah, great start from McLaughlin. Came off 8th place, so he's made good ground in this one after 9th in race 1 yesterday. So he's worked his way forward in the Volvo. And Fabian Coulthard, P3 into turn 1. He's been shuffled down through the field. He's 6th. Michael Caruso, remember this is a non-points round, so he'll lead the championship going into round 2 at Simmons Plains in a couple of weeks' time. Will Davison for Techno Autosport behind Rick Kelly, 11th and 12th, down to turn 11.
Chaz Mostert there, we just saw him blaze past with the headlights on. He's lost a little bit of ground, dropping back to 8th, but Scotty McLaughlin's jumped up into 5th, so it's Holden 1, 2, 3, 4. Scotty first of the Volvos in 5th, and Fabian's dropped back to 6th. Interesting to see now the 3 888 cars have skipped away a little bit, and potentially a little bit of rain down here on the front straight, so that could make things interesting on the first run back into turn 1, as we see Shane Van Gisbergen on cue, flicks the wiper on.
I'm sure I saw spits of rain down there at turn 13. And Van Gisbergen, the pioneer, we've seen that all throughout yesterday's incredible day of racing. The leader gets to it first and fires it off the road. Well, if anyone's well positioned to deal with it, it's Shane Van Gisbergen. We all know how good he is in those conditions. Wiper on, car 97. He's got his teammates behind, and here goes Craig Lowndes. Was mighty yesterday, and now Whincup pulls out of the toe, goes down the inside and wrestles the lead away from his teammate.
This is great racing. Look at this, bit of a switchback now from Shane, who's on the left-hand side. The biggest winner out of this could be Craig Lowndes, because these two are banging doors. Look at him, up the inside, Craig Lowndes, 3 wide teammates into turn 3.
Awesome racing from the V8 Supercars on the Dunlop soft tyre. They're putting on a show and the Red Bulls can't themselves wide. Look at Craig Lowndes go around the outside. He'll go to second. He wants the lead.
And Shane Van Gisbergen's got a busted headlight as a result of that. This is great spirited racing. I'm sure, you know, we often say teammates shouldn't be rubbing paint, but I reckon Roland up there in the Triple Eight garage would be just excited. There's nothing untoward happening here. This is good, hard racing, and this is how it should be. But it's meant Garth Tander has ranged up on the back here now, and it's a 6-way battle for the lead.
This is why you turn your television on and watch V8 Supercar racing. This is what we want to see. Fabian Coulthard down the inside now, Scott McLaughlin, and wrestles P5 away for the DJR Team Penske Ford. Those cars, he and his teammate Scott Pye have been competitive since practice 1. Unloaded off a great performance at the Clipsal 500 and were fast here. So, Win Cup now with Lowndes in second. These two battled for second place yesterday. A mighty scrap between the two of them, and Van Gisbergen back to P3.
Isn't this great watching this? Elbows out racing. No championship points here, as we know, but look, I'm telling you now, not one of these drivers is here to finish second, even if they're teammates.
Larko?
No, I was just going to say, mate, just watch these guys as they come around to the front part of the straight. It's actually, I wouldn't say it's raining heavy, but it's showering quite heavy here. Now, the tyres will be hot enough on these cars, they'll hang in there. The guys burst out onto the pit lane here ready with wets, but you won't see anyone put wets on here. But it's very discerning when you're in the driving seat and your windscreen's being belted with rain. It appears a lot wetter than it actually is.
Absolutely, Larko, and you can see on our lens there in Sector 3 of the circuit, it was more than raining. There was a bit of heavy rain there. Definitely not going to be wet enough for wet tyres, but it's enough to slip and slide, and when you're on slick tyres on a wet track, it's got no grip, lots of wheel spin, so this will be really tough for the lead car. When you're the first on the scene, you're the pioneer, and we saw it earlier this weekend in the Porsche races. When you're the first on the scene, you don't know where to touch the brake pedal. Watch Garth Tander now, he's having a bit of a look on the inside of Craig Lowndes.
Quite compromised coming out of turn 15, Craig Lowndes, and that cost him that run onto the straight through the quite quick final corner. And this was a pass. Now, this was the exchange a little bit earlier. Win Cup down the inside of Van Gisbergen. That was fine. It was what occurred after that that was wild between the Triple Eight teammates, having finished 1, 2, 3. The first time in that team's history yesterday.
Look how close Jamie was to running off the road there. He had to go off the limit and had to outbrake him to get past. And this is where the contact is between the 3 teammates. Great side-by-side racing, though. Seriously entertaining stuff.
This is what we want to see. This is great stuff. And difficult conditions as well. Amazing weekend of weather.
And you can see the rain there. You can see the rain. This is a difficult part of the track in the wet because it's a flat-out long sweeper in the dry. Add a bit of moisture there now and the cars would be sliding, especially over those white lines in the middle of the racetrack. This will be seriously a mentally draining lap for these guys, especially. Look at that heavy rain now. Whoa, and look at the sideways movement there. Lots of this. I cannot explain to you how hard it is when you've got no idea how much grip you've got. And look at this gaggle of cars. Anything can happen here. And Chaz, a bit of a rain master. He'll be trying to get right up the front here.
Mostert just leans on Fabian Coulthard through the right-hander and the second one. Good side-by-side exchange between the two forwards. James Courtney back of shot there with a pretty lurid slide out of turn 14. This is a very, very feisty battle. Just about to talk about Garth Tander, the racer's racer, scrapping his way to the front once again. Was relatively pleased yesterday after that long race scrap he had with James Courtney. The teammates were warring, they were rubbing mirrors. Entertaining stuff, and they're working on some development stuff this weekend. The Holden Racing team, as Caruso goes up the inside of Tim Slade for 9th and 10th. And Tim Slade's been one of the big movers, Jack, of the weekend. Started race 1, 18th place, worked his way to 12th, and then inside the 10 yesterday in race 2. Promising stuff from Brad Jones Racing. There's contact there with Courtney into the side of Scott McLaughlin, but they're okay.
You touch on Tim Slade. He was one of the movers over the summer period. He's moved from the Holden Racing team or the Walkinshaw Racing customer department, and he's moved over to Brad Jones Racing to fill that seat that was previously occupied by Fabian Coulthard, and just struggling a little bit to find the form and find how that car wants to be driven, but good to see them encouraging, you know, moving forward into the top 10.
Yeah, he said it was confidence that he was lacking in that car at Adelaide, and felt like here he'd be able to have a better crack. Look at the rain at 7. There's Coulthard with Mostert behind again. So the Red Bulls, including that group Craig Lowndes, as the third of the Triple Eight runners, just pulling away a little bit now from this group. We go back to Tander, then Fabian Coulthard, Chaz Mostert, Scott McLaughlin, and James Courtney behind them. Mostert has to go defensive. Fabian sails around the outside. Great move. Wraps up the Super Cheap board. And Mostert will get a run, and have a look at this scrap.
That is the fastest part of the racetrack. Over 200 Ks through there, and it's a wet track. And look at this. Scotty looking up the inside at Chaz. Can't get the job done. And James Courtney there. Bit of a tap in the back of the Volvo. And Caruso's buying into this as well. He's got a little bit of overlap onto James.
Like a Formula Ford race. It's unbelievable stuff. And Michael Caruso wants in on this too. Your Enduro co-driver there's getting into the thick of the action, JP.
Oh, they love it, mate. It's not just James. All the boys love driving these race cars and racing them hard and fast. Look, Mark Winterbottom, he was the biggest loser in the first race, getting turned around from a top 5 position, and he's finding his way back through the field, currently in 12th and on the back of this gaggle of cars. Lowndes
the fastest man on the racetrack at the moment, so pulled a couple of tenths out of the 2 litres, so those 3 cars at the front are concertinaing up, getting closer to each other. Tander with reasonable speed, busy behind to Scott Pye, Lee Holdsworth, brand new team, Charlie Schwerkolt Racing. Of course, Charlie heavily involved with James Courtney's championship in 2010. Jamie Whincup continues to lead the motor race with Shane Van Gisbergen second and under significant pressure from Craig Lowndes, who's consistently now the fastest man on the racetrack. Garth Tander still 4th, Fabian Coulthard 5th in front of Chaz Mostert. Here's the battle for 2nd place.
Yeah, I think Craig's got the fastest car on the track, and he sort of showed that yesterday, and he had to come a long way back. This is Cam Waters taking a drive-through penalty whilst we were away. He had incident with car 19 Will Davison at the second to last corner, turned him around, and as a result, he's got a drive-through penalty.
So replay to Fabian Coulthard. Watch McLaughlin just drive straight ahead, the Wilson Security Volvo.
Does he make contact with the tyres? No, just kept it off. So I'm not sure what happened there, whether he had an issue or just ran off the road, a little bit hot in there. Difficult corner. You can often get in there too fast and then can't get out on the way out and end up using a lot of the exit AstroTurf. But focusing back on Craig Lowndes, like I said, I think he's the fastest car here out of this front 3. If he could get past Shane, I think he's got something for Jamie, who's skipped away from Shane here, showing pure class.
And isn't it interesting just watching the dynamic of this race change? So what's happened here a little bit, because the Formula 1 cars have been out today in the dry, they've actually put some rubber down. So a lot of these guys would have gone and set their cars for rubber down today, which is a little bit stiffer. When we got that dose of rain, you could see how it changed it up so much. It was quite dramatic. But a guy I want to have a quick chat to is Roland Dane, the team principal down here. Hey, Roland, first of all, congratulations yesterday, your first 888 123. We're having a chat before about Shane Van Gisbergen, and you made an interesting comment. A new dynamic for him, having to battle with teammates and deal with it, because it's not something he's had to do in recent years.
Yeah, he's had a couple of years off from doing that, but he's got to respect his teammates, and he did yesterday very well. So he knows that. He's got to respect the dynamic of the team, but with no issue. So
when Roland refers to the dynamic of the team, that's this bloke right here. Just give him a look down the barrel of what the dynamic of the team is. You're looking remarkably composed, and yesterday, even with the intensity of racing going on, mate. So it's obviously well sorted.
Oh, look, I hope it is. I mean, they're racing hard. We want to give the fans a good show, put on a good show for V8 Supercars here in front of the F1 audience, and up to the drivers to do it in a good way. They're all really good racers, and no reason why they shouldn't.
And RD, just for clarity, for people that may not watch a lot of V8 Supercar racing and might be watching today, a typical contract with a driver would say, race your hardest, race your teammate, but don't make contact.
Yeah, I try not to. Sometimes it can happen, as you know. You've probably done it a few times yourself. But you try not to, and try to respect the integrity of the team. We are a team sport.
Well, and you're certainly a good team down here, mate. You fired a warning shot at them for this year, so well done again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larko. Be an interesting stat to dig up as to whether M. Larkham had any instances with teammates over the years.
I'm sure he would have.
We'll try and bring that one up for you. Whincup, Van Gisbergen and Lowndes. Craig Lowndes has spent a lot of this weekend locked behind the vast rear wing of one of the sister cars from 888 in the Red Bull stable. Yesterday it was Jamie Whincup, now it's Shane Van Gisbergen. The fight for 2nd and 3rd. Thinking with McLaughlin going off, while we heard from Larko and Roland Dane that southeastern end of the circuit's been where a majority of that rain has been falling, Jack. So it may have caught McLaughlin out, though. We just saw the Volvo parked to the side there, so suggest it might be a little bit more than just a weather-related runoff.
Yeah, and they've been struggling a little bit with some steering and power steering issues this year and this weekend. And I'd just suggest, by the way, we saw Scotty fire off the road, potentially lost power steering. But this battle for seconds heating up. Craig Lowndes definitely has pace on Shane, but finding his way past is another story. Just furthering from Roland's comments, I guess, motor racing is so different to ball sports. You know, football, it's not fair game to hip and shoulder one of your own team, but you're also not competitors like you are on the racetrack. So that's what's so unique about motor racing. Your teammates are your competitors, which is very, very rare, and it makes it challenging when you're racing your teammate for the win of the race. You know, you've got personal pride at stake, but you've also got a team of 50, 60 people that put you in that position you are.
And you're seeing again here, Jack, we talked about it yesterday with Roland. I mean, at the end of the day, one of the guys said, look, if it was someone else on another team, I would have blocked a bit more. And Craig behind said, if the guy in front of me was another team, I probably would have touched him up. So, and you're not seeing this. And I've got to say, this is quality driving, because to drive these cars in these conditions where it's moist around the circuit and not make contact, first class.
Oh, absolutely, and that's why they're on the big bucks. And look, it's great to see, though, you know, to be able to put on a show like this. It's fantastic, and a little bit more rain would spice this up, I reckon.
Through turn 5 there was very, very close to being contact between these two. Lowndes clearly the faster of the two and trying each which way to work his way past. Maybe a move down the end of the back straight here on Van Gisbergen. This is a great fight. Tander's still sitting behind them in 4th. And the raw speed to go with them, fight with them for the final spot on the podium. The other thing we need to talk about is that while races 1, 2 and 3 have been a progressive grid, by that I mean where they finish one race, they start the next, race 4 tomorrow is on the points they've accumulated so far. It's like the old school Australian Touring Car Championship round situation. At the moment, Shane Van Gisbergen has the most points for the weekend. Jamie Whincup second, and that would be the way they start race 4, I should say, tomorrow. If Lowndes gets past Van Gisbergen, he obviously loses some points, might just bump him off the front row. They run down towards turn 1, smash the 7,500, rev limit just as they get before the braking zone there. They gear them perfectly for straight line here at Albert Park, and Lowndes again has to wait and bide his time.
Yeah, it's another unique part of the event, isn't it? Having round points and rolling starts. It's not a championship round, but we play with the formats a bit to keep it interesting and keep it fresh. And as you say, it'll be interesting now because it'll be an all Red Bull front row if they finish the way they are now.
Here's this Craig Lowndes we're talking about yesterday, boys, the pest, I call him, when he's on your back bumper like this. Is what he does. And if you go back and look at most racing overtaking manoeuvres, they come as a result of a mistake from the guy in front, not from just saying, I'm going to blaze on by. But if you're a Holden Racing Team fan, I think there's a little bit to be happy about, Jack, including you, endurance driver, because, as you know, they did a lot of development at the back end of last year, come out, they were very fast at Clipsal, and here we have a completely different circuit, and they're showing really good signs here this weekend. So I think for me, when you can do that at 2 such different circuits, they're in good stead for this year, mate.
Hey, Larko, while we've got you, Roland insinuated during your chat with him that maybe you might have had some run-ins with teammates. Anything you'd like to fess up to while we've got you on the confessional here?
Well, there is one that stands out, actually, mate. When Jason Bargwanna, who happens to be the driving standards observer for the category, did I remind you of that? The driving standards observer when he was my teammate, and I owned the team, and I paid his wages, took me out when we were both in for a top 10 finish at Eclipsal 500 on the last lap. Probably wasn't strategically a great career move for him.
You must have been in the way, Larko.
I was waving at the crowd on the last lap properly, I think.
Just talking about this, so we're watching Craig follow quite closely, and this is actually one of the most challenging aspects of racing these cars because, you know, when you stopped at the traffic lights out there in the public road and you're parked up behind someone, have a look at your visibility. You actually can't see around you, and Craig's actually able to follow probably a couple of feet, maybe even a couple of inches off the back bumper bar here, and coupled with the fact that you lose a lot of vision around the racetrack, you actually lose a lot of front downforce. So later on this afternoon in Formula 1 qualifying, you'll see front wings and rear wings, and they look very visible. A V8 Supercar is no different. That front spoiler, the bottom edge, is the front wing, and you can see the rear wing on the back of the car. When you're following closely, you lose a lot of the effect of that front spoiler right there, because what happens is Shane's taking away all the air off the front bar, and you lose all that front downforce. So Craig's doing an exceptional job keeping that front grip and keeping it behind. You see Shane rag in the rear there, a lot of oversteer, a couple of licorice straps behind the back tyres, so he's got a lot of wheel spin. He doesn't have a good a rear tyre quality as Craig Lowndes, and I'm sure Craig is chomping at the bit to try and find a manoeuvre, potentially into here. Come through this long sweeping corner. Shane doesn't have the rear grip. You see Craig's pouncing there, He hasn't quite got the car in the right position to get up the inside into here.
It's just a replay of yesterday's race. It's just that they've taken the 88 off the car in front of Craig Lowndes and replaced it with a 97. This is a super fight, and Lowndes doing everything he can. And you mentioned trying to take the air off his front wing. Well, Craig's got that naturally very shallow entry into a corner where he gets the nose in very early. You can see it there. Might just help his cause a little bit. His next big opportunity comes about 500 metres down the road. A bit where there's been all the moisture in this motor race. That light rain shower that came through.
Here we go.
Here goes Lowndes under brakes.
Not quite able to get the job done. It's so hard, not only racing your own brand, as in Holden versus Holden, but it's also the same engines, the same KRE engines, so they've got the same horsepower, the same speed and ability, so there's not a lot of difference to be able to accelerate past the car in front.
Lowndes will have one more lap, 5.3 Ks to try and work his way past his Kiwi teammate. Jamie Whincup starts the final lap, 1 to go.
And Shane's really holding up Craig now. You look how close Garth is. Garth is some 7/10 of a second faster that lap, so he's ranged right up on the back of Craig. And look, maybe if this was a championship round, Craig might have been a bit more forceful, even if it was another team car. But again, credit to Shane. He doesn't have the speed, but he's able to hold off Craig Lowndes, who's one of the best in the business. And you can see Jamie skipped away to a 5.6 second lead, so a bit of a walk in the park here for Jamie.
Just change of direction where Van Gisbergen struggled 2 laps ago. While we're speaking to Mark in pit lane, that Lowndes had a really red-hot look up through turn 5. What about this time? Shane's pretty good driving the car straight. You're right, though. It certainly doesn't have the rear tyre life that Craig Lowndes has, using the rear of the car up a little bit more. And we had that fantastic power slide. Black strips of Dunlop rubber laid down out of turn 4 last lap. There's Whincup, qualified on pole brilliantly by 0.5 of a second. In fact, it was 0.02. He got pole, but in the first 2 races, finished second, then third. So drop back down, and Jamie Whincup's one of those drivers that he doesn't care if it's points or non-points, just wants to win and race hard.
And Richard, don't underestimate, Jamie would have left here yesterday. We said it yesterday. He would have hated the fact that Shane beat him. He would have worked very, very hard last night, I can assure you, to get his car right for day. And full credit, he's nailed it.
Lowndes, good run out of 12. He's running out of corners, though, Jack, to try and find a way past SVG.
This is difficult. You look how close Garth Tander is now. He's closed right up on the back of Craig. Probably not close enough to get a move done, but Craig's just thinking this is the only opportunity coming up. This second to last right-hand turn, it's really delicate now as the tyres are wearing away. He's going to try and get a run onto him, but look, all Jamie Whincup, pure class here, so that's a great job. And that will see him start, providing Shane doesn't have any dramas, that will see him start second for tomorrow's race.
It was Van Gisbergen in races 1 and 2. This time, Jamie Whincup fights back in the battle of the Red Bulls. And the fight for second goes to Van Gisbergen. And he'll lock away pole position for race 4 tomorrow. Really entertaining motor racing, the V8 Supercars at Albert Park. It was a great display. Really, really enjoyable car race.
Absolutely. I mean, they're just showing how good these drivers are. I mean, consider we had a little bit of moisture there. No one dropped it off the road. So confirmation of the results. Jamie Whincup first across the line. Shane Van Gisbergen, Craig Lowndes. Garth Tander 4th. Fabian Coulthard 5th. Chaz Mostert in 6th, doing a great job on his recovery from a big crash at Bathurst last year. James Courtney, my teammate, ran 7th. Michael Caruso 1st of the Nissans 8th. Timmy Slade in 9th. Rick Kelly 2nd of the Nissans in 10th.
Kelly into the top 10 for the first time this weekend. Mark Winterbottom didn't make much ground. He's 11th. Scott Pye 12th. And Chris Pither, his best finish of the weekend for Super Black Racing, and going very well with his Pro Drive Racing teammates Holdsworth, Reynolds, Darwood, Blanchard, Percat, Davison and Heimgartner for LD Motorsport, rounding out the top 20.